All right, now who here likes money? Raise your hand. You guys like money? Do you guys like spending money? All right, now who here has made a stupid decision with their money? Raise your hand. Now who isn't raising their hand because they have a lying problem? If you ever heard about finance and Christianity talked about in the same place, there's a good chance you may already know who I'm talking about. The speaker's books have helped my family out in some tight situations, and I've personally taken some of their classes while I was in high school. He's also spoken at many, many conferences, and he's just a great influencer all around. The speaker that I'm talking about today is Dave Ramsey. He's a syndicated radio host and a New York Times bestseller. Dave Ramsey is influential to the Christian community and those struggling with their finances by offering both financial and biblical advice through his books, classes, and talk show. Now, according to his website, Dave Ramsey has written over 15 books, with 7 of those making it to the all-time bestsellers list, and he has a total of 11 million copies sold, with 5 million of them being his best-selling book called The Total Money Makeover. The Total Money Makeover is 20 years of Dave's experiences and advice and lessons, all condensed into 7 easy-to-follow steps to give you a total money makeover. And there's also over 50 testimonies in the book of people successfully following these principles and changing their life and turning it around. These 7 baby steps, as he called them, are the following. Save $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. Pay off all of your debt, except for your house, using the debt snowball. Save 3 to 6 months of expense in a fully funded emergency fund. Invest 15% of your house income for retirement. Save for your children's college fund. Pay off your home early, and build wealth and give. Now, one of the things I really like about Dave Ramsey is that he focuses a lot of what he talks about on the biblical principle of giving, but he didn't really always understand what it meant to give and what it meant to follow God. You see, Dave and his wife Sharon back in 1988 were prosperous. They had a real estate business and they were making bank, but the thing is that they didn't realize they were millions of dollars in debt, and all of a sudden they found themselves bankrupt. Dave was at his low. And so that's when he turned to God. That's when he turned to the Bible to seek out biblical principles in order to save and budget wisely. And slowly but surely, he dug his way out of the debt hole, and he started sharing with others his experiences. And his classes grew from 5 to 350, and all the way to now what's known as Financial Peace University, where hundreds of thousands come to listen to him speak and take his class. Financial Peace University allows you to take control of your money, plan your future, and transform your life. And it's a 9-week course that helps you to flip your life around, no matter if you're $1 in debt or $1 million in debt. Dave also, as a speaker, is really funny. He makes fun of the audience, he makes fun of himself, but the thing that really strikes me when I watch him speak is that when the audience sees that others around them are struggling, they're put at ease a little more because they realize they're not alone in their financial struggles. And ultimately, money suddenly becomes an easier subject to talk about. So I want to do something a little fun with you guys. I'm going to reenact an exercise that he's in one of his speeches. So I will invite you all to please stand up for this exercise. You two on Zoom. I didn't forget you. Now, what I want you to do is, from where you're standing, just close your eyes, okay? So just, well, you don't have to because you're recording, but, so close your eyes, right? Now, what I'm gonna tell you, you don't have, like, well, you should do it. You should do it, you should give it a try. What I want you to do, no peeking, no cheating, what I want you to do is point south. No looking around, just give it a try. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, just try. That's it, yep, getting some ways, almost there. All right, now keep where your hands are at. Don't move your current position. Open your eyes and look around. Oh dear, what in the world is happening? Y'all are pointing different directions. What's happening? South is that way. See, yeah, you got it right. But here's the point of as to why I did this. Your feelings, they don't guide you in the right direction. And south will always be south, no matter what you call it. But if you follow your feelings, you end up getting lost. You can sit down. And that's just one of the principles he talks about in his speeches. And in case you can't tell, that's one of the reasons why I really like Dave Ramsey, because he's just so memorable as a speaker, so funny. And the best part about what he does is that he's active in the community. And not only does he talk about financial principles through his books and classes, but he also has a talk show. It's called The Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. In this talk show, the callers call in, and they're able to talk directly with Dave and his team in order to discuss their financial problems. And Dave will help them and tailor a financial solution just for them. Even just yesterday, November 3rd, he talked about ways you can get out of being stuck in mortgages and how you can call out red flags and even how to move to America without any debt. It started off as a small talk show in Antioch, Tennessee called The Money Game, but it eventually evolved into what it is today with over 14 million weekly listeners and over 600 radios across the nation broadcasting his show. It has also made it onto podcasts as well. And in 2015, Dave Ramsey was inducted into the National Radio Hall of Fame for his show. So now you know a little bit more about Dave Ramsey. He's a great speaker and honestly just a great guy to go to advice to. Maybe you're not thinking about it much now, but 5 years from now, we're mostly all going to be out of college or pursuing a graduate degree, and money will be a much more prevalent subject to think about. So I would highly recommend taking one of his classes while you can. They're pretty affordable and honestly, just a great guy to get advice from. So Dave Ramsey, the guy that climbed out of the debt hole and shares his experiences and stories through his books, his classes, and his talk show. He's an encouraging, persuasive, humorous, and engaging, energizing man who will give life-changing advice anytime, anywhere, for whatever stage of life you're at, which is why I think he's the greatest speaker of all time. So I'll leave you with this, and this is how he ends all of his talk shows. There's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Thank you.